Dear University family, welcome to the opening meeting of the Tallinn University of Technology. At today's meeting, we will honor the colleagues who have passed away, and the rector, Professor Tiit Land, will summarize the past academic year and present plans for the coming academic year. We will also award golden badges to colleagues who have served the university for 25 years and thank a professor emeritus. So we shall start, and we'd like to give the floor to the rector, Professor Tiit Land. Dear former rectors, dear university family, as it is in life, unfortunately, the case, several colleagues have passed away in the last academic year, and I'd like to mention their names. Gabriel Hasak, Ive Katus, Edi Kolk, Leo Lille,
Pilvi Veeber, Andres Veske, Anti Viikna, Leo Õispuu ja Andres Öpik. Nii, aga läheme siis edasi tänase avakoosoleku sisuga ja ma annan teile...
But now let's move on with the contents of today's starting meeting and session, and I have given the academic 15 minutes in order to give you an overview of our past academic year, as well as look into the future, what's ahead of us this season. So, in order to summarize the subjects I will speak about today. First of all, we will make a little summary of the past academic year. Then we will speak about the big admissions of new students and also what lies ahead regarding the activities and also challenges of the current academic year, which is about to start. So I'd like to kick off with saying what's perhaps one of the most important subjects. Last year, I told you about the challenges lying ahead for the next academic year, that is the one which is behind us already, and I mentioned that the state financing of the higher education and universities by the Estonian state is an acute issue. Administrative contract is here an important term. Administrative contract was agreed by the Rectors' Council. The rectors decided in the Rectors' Council's meeting last year that we will not be assigning a new administrative contract before the state has decided upon what to do with the universities and higher education financing in general. And very intensive work was carried out not only by the Rector's Office and by the rectors, but in general. And it ended with the fact that the Estonian government decided in early autumn 2022, when adopting the state budget strategy, to also, in the framework, support the higher education activity support, which is a large amount of, or large share of what we get from the Estonian state in order to support our activities. In any case, the Estonian government decided to increase the activity support by 15 years over the next 4 years. We were expecting and expect also today that the negotiations regarding the Estonian state budget, which will be decided upon within a month's time, and we hope that it will also bring good news regarding the retaining of the higher educational institutions financing on the level that it is today. And we also in October, past autumn, signed administrative contracts with the Ministry of Education and Research for 2022 to 2025, and we expect an increase of 8 million, which is a very considerable increase. I would like to highlight perhaps some of the points in this new administrative contract which are very important for us as the only technical university in Estonia. So the following points. 3.3.2, the university will ensure the training of specialists in priority areas, including also maintaining the number of admissions at both levels of study in informatics and information technology, at least at the level of 2021-2022. And increasing the share of female students and increasing the efficiency of first year completion. Also, the last point, setting the proportion of graduates within nominal study time in engineering, manufacturing and construction at 60% and increases the number of admissions by 10%. But I would like to continue with speaking about the fulfilling of the strategic plan, since the strategic plan is very important for the university and the fulfilling thereof as well. And we are constantly taking a look at where we are at and how have we been proceeding with fulfilling the strategic plan. We can say that the major keyword of the strategic plan is quality. We can rather do less, but do better. And following the achieving of the KPIs is also possible through power by as well as smart environments. On the 17th of May, many of us were also in this hall, and we had an annual seminar where we were updating the university family on the current state of implementation of the strategic plan and discussed the outlook. The next slide entails the KPIs of the strategic plan. I'm not going to go into these details one by one, but you see the baselines as well as the aims in the columns as in different areas, that is study, research, entrepreneurial, and general. And I'd like to also mention that about a year ago, we had the Climate Neutral University 2035, and the Council approved this goal, but the level we will measure against is not the focus in 2025, but rather 2035. We also developed a model for calculating greenhouse gases. It was proposed and initiated by our own researchers. And for the baseline, we decided to adopt the year 2022 instead of 2021, not to be influenced by the COVID-19 pandemic data too much. So by 2035 we will move to climate neutrality. Going linearly to zero might not be very reasonable, but at least we have set the goals in order to move further. But autumn 2023, we would like to propose a toolbox for measuring how to model and what to do and how exactly. At the moment, we will take a look at the year 2025 when this data was also confirmed by the Council. And now I'd like to go on with all important domains for us. That is study work, research, entrepreneurial, and general. I'm not going to touch up on everything which is important in our work. You can see all this data in a smart environment, but when we concentrate on the administrative contract, then we have signed several things which are also important in our work and should be our goal-setting priorities. First of all, a share of graduates with nominal time. We have decided, and not only us, but it is important also in the public financing of higher education, because it is activity support, also performance-related support, and we don't compete only with ourselves only, because we have seen several percentages, and sometimes it might be a little below 50%, in other years a bit after, and we can also compare ourselves with other universities in Estonia. And there are two slides with the data. First, which I can show you now today, now it does not look bad, but the next one is a bit sadder, I must say. So here we see the results for 20 share of graduates with nominal time. And we see also, if you take a look at the graph on the left, we started moving from 49.6% from 2020. We see 50.4% in 2021, and then 51.8% last year. So these are the students that have graduated or are still studying. But before midsummer, when we concluded our last academic year, we saw a bit, the situation which we saw then in the numbers was not as bright. After midsummer, there have been a couple of graduates added to these statistics. For instance, in the School of Science, we saw some graduates also last week. When you take a look at the schools, then we also see that, for instance, schools of science and business and governance are in a better situation. School of IT and also perhaps Estonian Maritime Academy, there are some challenges still ahead of us. Whether we want it or not, but we do not only speak about graduates with nominal time, but we speak about graduates at all. But there's also a large proportion of students that do not graduate at all. And we also analyze the situation as good as we can with this data. So quite some people have interrupted their studies. I do not know what it means in terms of financing, but we can take a look at what has been going on in the universities in general. One KPI which is also important in our strategic plan is the total revenue from educational activities. We are trying to get to the point of 70 million by 2025. Last year, by the end of the academic year, we had the result of 62.6 million. And if the state is keeping its financing on the level it's promised, we are able to move on. And despite of structural funds and the European Union financing, the measures of which have not been launched yet, there has been a very long backlog as well as a delay of the kickoff of new measures. But new measures should open rather soon, and we expect to get tens of millions of euros of support from these measures. We can say that it's just money we're talking about, but it is important also to use it and how we use it in order to fulfill our functions and our mission set to ourselves. Because it adds motivation and it also is important for the wage increase. We all know that last year has struck out by its very high inflation rate, which is increasing the pressure to the wages as well, and creating extra cost. So now going to the research part. In order to concentrate on the quality in the strategic plan, then one important indicator to take a look at is the number of Q1 articles per academic staff member with a doctorate degree per year. And we see that this has been fulfilled by our staff members, and we are very thankful to all of you. This is to recognize all of you. We have gone up from 0.58 in 2020, with the final aim in 2025 being 0.7. Last year we were at 0.66. You see that the best numbers have been demonstrated by the Estonian Maritime Academy. It also is dependent a bit on the staff members with doctor degrees, which is exactly 10 in the case of Estonian Maritime Academy. But when you take a look at the schools with many staff members with the doctoral degree, then School of Engineering can definitely be highlighted by their share, and it's also increased in comparison with 2021 as well as 2020. And also in the School of IT, it is a question of measuring. And the School of Science as well as School of Business and Governance have been doing well. So we are happy about these results, and let's carry on the good work. In comparison with the University of Tartu, their index is 0.72. So we discussed these issues also when confirming the KPIs. We were also thinking about the possibility of whether we shoot ourselves in the foot by the fact that we want the Q1 ranking articles, but at the same time There are many articles produced on other levels. Our basis financing has been also increased. And it is we look good when we compare ourselves with other universities. Now, number of doctoral theses defended last year, 74 dissertations were defended. We had a very ambitious goal. We have to say by 2025 it is set to 90. So it might be a bit suspicious whether we get to this level, but we have to keep up the pace and keep up the defending the way it is. And in administrative contract with the ministry, we agreed on 76 PhD study places. So we are getting quite close with our graduates to the level of what's been commissioned by the state. Also, volume of R&D projects started per full-time equivalent of academic staff member with doctoral degrees. This slide is a bit sad. We see that there is a downward trend, unfortunately. Now the question is whether the KPIs can be measured also proportionately, and whether our calculation methods have been the best. We know that years differ quite severely from each other, and we see the tendencies of total revenue of R&D activities in million euros highlighted here in this slide. And we see that the cycle of the projects and the revenue goes hand in hand with the financing of the structural funds by the European Union. And since the new financing period and new measures have not been launched yet, we are also lagging behind. And I show you this slide also in order to maybe ponder a little bit and analyze with you whether how and why we should look at these numbers today, and as they strongly depend on the financing of the structural funds. In the Power BI report, you can see all of these tables, so I'm not going into detail of these entrepreneurial numbers here. In the upcoming year, Erik Puura, Vice Rector for Entrepreneurship, has been presenting to the Council and to the Deans also this morning regarding the developments in the entrepreneurial domain. We see the numbers which we have had in the past and also the levels we hope to achieve in the following years. Also one spin-off, TalTech, which has been created by the Chemistry and Biotechnology department, and the spin-off has been kicked off well. It's functioning, and the topic which they are dealing with is also important in other contexts. It is about how to valorize biomass, talking about sawdust, for instance, what we have, and their idea is to use yeast in combination with sawdust, which can be valorized and to be used as fish feed, for instance. Regarding the general data or general KPIs, I will show you the image index of the university. The survey was carried out between April and May 2022 by Kantar Emor, and our goal is 95. In 2021 we had 93, and 2022 91, and there's also comparison with the University of Tartu, and you see that what we differ from the University of Tartu is that we are highlighted in the age group of 15 to 60 regarding new and digital technologies, and also in the age group of 15 to 24 new and digital technologies, novelty, as well as giving practical education. And now I would like to also move on to other domains. Before we take a look at the admissions, we also need to take a look at how many of us there are and how the academic career is organized. You see how it has changed. We took a look at this picture also last year. In 2021 we had a reform, and in the spring of 2021 the Senate also confirmed the position of professors outside of tenure, as well as tenure professors with a fixed-term contract. So instead of 3 levels of tenureship, we now have 2. And when we take a look at how the positions were fulfilled, then the associate professors, there were 14. That was our projection also before. If we take a look at the level we had beforehand, the requirements we had were and have been quite high. So new study trail associate professors, we had 14, junior professors 8. And hopefully these numbers will have some additions. As of tenure professor, associate professors in tenureship are 8 from the 95 we have now, which means that in the next 3 years we will see their attestations on the higher level as well. And full professors and associate professors are divided in the proportion of 50-50, just about. Then senior lecturers 142, lecturers 187, and junior researchers, doctoral students 275, which is our highest number. Now moving on to the admission of new students. In the summer, we are always excited to look at what is going on, and when our study information system is opened for admissions, we are always curious. We cannot compare our university with the University of Tartu or University of Tallinn regarding the admissions applications, because we have 4,000 to 5,000 admissions applications, and the University of Tartu has many more, because just the profiles do not match the way they do, and we cannot compare ourselves with others. But when taking a look at the admissions of new students, then on the first level we have 1,702. And in the technical fields, we see that there is an increase, which is quite nice. And in the second level of study, that is MA studies, there are more students than there were last year. Then last year it was 885. This year it's 1,040. But at the same time, 2021, there were more, that is 1,107. When we add up the first and second level of study, then we see more students in comparison with the last 2 academic years. And we've also highlighted here degree programs that have seen the most increase. I am happy that in the domain of electrical engineering and mechatronics, we have an increase this year, 117 new students starting. Last year it was 82, and the one before, that is 2021, 76. Also, construction design and management has been quite popular. 144 new admissions this year. Informatics increase also quite remarkable in comparison with 2021. And then business administration has seen an increase as well. When we take a look at the second level of study, that is MA studies, then green energy technologies is something which is very popular. Here we can only compare with 2022. And this study program will be launched here in Tallinn as well as in Virumaa. In Viru College there is a session study, which makes this program also more popular. But I would like to come back to the session study in my talk. Because there are also some students who were actually from Tallinn but decided to go to study in Viru College just because there is a session study possible there. What are the indicators or factors influencing admission? We know that threshold-based admission is a question in BA studies. Also, a broad mathematics state exam, which needs to have a grade minimum of 50 points, is an obstacle. We see the results of our secondary school graduates, and there are just about more than 2,000 plus graduate that match with our requirement of having at least minimum 50 points of the maths state exam. Tartu University is currently tackling with reaching out to new prospective students with the teacher training programs. A specialized math state exam was taken by almost 4,000 secondary school graduates, and the average grade for 2023 has been 33.6 points. So it shows that the different level maths exam, perhaps it's time to abolish it. It's not being taken seriously. And this is also our message to the public that it is high time to perhaps get rid of the different levels, that is comprehensive or broad, and then specialized math state exams. Because there we definitely need more motivation in order to get better results. And it's time to start thinking seriously about sessional learning at the master's level, because we see in schools where there is more session study that the study results are good, and learning motivation has not gone down. At the University of Tallinn, as well as the University of Life Sciences, there is a large proportion of study in session study as well. And in the current academic year, we will also present this subject to you more, how to do and what to do next. And it's also interesting to see which are the schools that we have the most admissions from the secondary schools, that is in Estonia. Pärnu Koidula Secondary School has had the most prospective students for us. Most students admitted from there, graduates. Then Viimsi Secondary School, and about half of the people who graduated from there come to study with us. And they also have specialized classes in order to concentrate on the important subjects for us. We also went to their graduation ceremony in order to recognize them with the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs and in order to congratulate them. And many of them have been coming and will come to us. And the state gymnasium, which will be opened at the Technopolis, will be a very great hope for us for the future. Hopefully, the students who will start the 10th grade this year will be graduating in a couple of years' time and will then join as our prospective students. Regarding the admission of foreign students, 123 foreign students have confirmed to start their studies with us. In comparison with 2022, we saw the number being on the level of 173. And when we take a look at the countries that these people come from, we have 9 most popular countries here. Pakistan, Bangladesh, as well as Iran. We do not see so many students coming in as we saw in the past. And the very positive tendency is that Finland has the first place. Micro degree programs. We have 235 candidates for 24 micro degree programs. Among them, 60 people who have applied for the micro degree program in programming. Follow-up funding for the European universities and Eurotech. Eurotech continues the financing in the next 4 years. 12.8 million euros is the total budget of the project. And also 2 business schools were added to the previous 6 partner countries, universities, which also gives our School of Business and Administration to be more active there. We can also say that within the past 3 years, we have seen success story rolling out. Without praising us too much, I would say that in this network, we are quite highly regarded. But in the field of study, I also mentioned before that there are 7 EU measures in the field of study which will be launched in the near future, hopefully in the new academic year. IT Academy transition has been delayed. Unfortunately, these things have been delayed, but it's only a matter of time in order to proceed with this work further. And in the new academic year, a review of horizontal competencies of curricula and the coherence of curricula and internal assessment is planned as well. And the new old subject which we will focus on in this new academic year as well is research and R&D focus areas.
merekeskkond on siis uued teemad aga nende sisustamine on osaliselt juba toimub, aga kindlasti me ootame siin ka selle õppeaastal edasiminekut.
And we have been adding two new subjects within this new R&D focus areas. Research communication is a very important aspect we need to work on, and increasing the share of industrial doctorates. The new financial regulation foresees a grant fund, which we need to rework, and we have to think about the grant fund plus or something which is foreseen for non-junior researchers. In order to support the researchers that have been left aside of the major ways of research funding. And we will come back to that. About entrepreneurship, I don't want to say that we need to restart this domain, but it is clear that we have vice rector for entrepreneurship, and he has also experience from different university, and using this package of experience, this person has been working hard already for the last 4 months. And the Vice Rector for Entrepreneurship has presented the Council development plans for 2023 and 2030, also including entrepreneurial cooperation, intellectual property protection, commercialization, and spin-offs, so that we could see the fruit of our work. But we understand that there's no magic bullet which helps with all the problems. There is no such thing, so it is for all of us a common work and understanding that we need to contribute for this domain to move on. I'm not going to read all of this slide regarding the entrepreneurial domain which we need to do, but the question is how to increase motivation also among researchers to contribute to this domain. Regarding the intellectual property and its defense, we have been planning courses for the PhD students, and also visibility and image building. It is important how we are being seen, and we compare ourselves with the University of Tartu as well as the University of Tallinn. And a little scandal can be a very groundbreaking event in this regard. So it is important how we are being seen, and of course we have to do our image building ourselves. So we need to discuss what to do and then carry out the activities. And now, the new strategy that the Tallinn University of Technology has is our new green strategy. In June, the Council approved the university's green strategy for 2023-2035. But in order to not to cause confusion, the green strategy is not a strategy in itself, but in our strategic plan, there is also point regarding the green strategy, and the new strategy is created in order to specify the aims and activities and also KPIs. So we have two stages here. In the first stage, we create general tendencies for green transition and also aims by 2025. And then in the second stage, we will have a long-term sustainability until 2035. The development strands of the green strategy are put down based on the climate agreement, and we have then the first 6 points here. That is clean, affordable and secure energy supply, circular economy, energy and resource efficient construction and renovation, emissions-free environment, and so on. We'd like to also use the pool of expertise we have in the university in order to contribute to this goals. And then the Green Deal by the EU sees that there are many regions in Europe which are dependent on the past generation energy, that is fossil fuels. In the East Viru County, we see that region in Estonia, and that's why the just transition in East Viru County is very important. But it is just transition, and this is also part of our green strategy. Launching the green strategy, the steps would be, first of all, to put down our activity plan and its communication, then just transition in Viru College, and investing into cities to reduce the carbon footprint. We have to be partners with the society here. What are the biggest challenges we have? We evaluated our risks and calibrated them last year, and we ended up with the following. First of all, the biggest challenge is the Estonian language academic offspring, developing of the entrepreneurial domain. More than 50% of our PhD graduates that defend the degree are not Estonians, that is non-Estonian medium students, and Estonian language academic offspring thus is a challenge. Developing of the entrepreneurial domain, also our new green strategy, activity plan, as well as ownership of the green strategy by the university staff members. Renewing of the management model. A task to the rector was created that we can involve more academic staff members in the management work of the university, and the working group has been gathering for several months to work on these changes. The changes will then be also put to the statutes, which we will be dealing with this autumn. And the last challenge would be horizontal cooperation between schools and institutes. I am quite optimistic here in the green strategy context as well. So to sum up, I'm not very original when I say, and I've said before, that the university's development and quality are produced by our people. We have to invest more in the people because the lecturers are not earning are earning rather moderate wages, and this is not okay. So we have to motivate them more. I would like to thank you all the members of the university, for their contribution during the last academic year, and wish you all active, exciting, and joyful new academic year. So in the next 3 weeks in September, let's get together, because there are many events, opening ceremony for the students, and on the 8th of September, a week later, there will be a grand campus fest celebrated, and then on September 18th, we will have a celebration of our anniversary. So thank you for coming and have a happy new academic year.
Aitäh rektor Tiit Landile.
Thank you to the rector, Professor Tiit Land. Start recognizing the staff members of the university who have worked for us for 25 years and more. So, Professor Tiit Land and Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Hendrik Woll, please come up to the stage for the recognizing ceremony. Tallinn University of Technology recognizes a staff member who has been working for us for 25 years. And this is Associate Professor of the Estonian Maritime Academy, Anatoli Alop.
Palume kuldmärgi vastuvõtmiseks lavale Ärikorralduse Instituudi lektori Jelena Hartšenko.
Lecturer of the Department of Business Administration, Jelena Hartšenko.
Kutsume kuldmärgi vastuvõtmiseks lavale
The golden badge will be awarded to
Marju Hõimla.
the study officer of the Dean's Office at School of Science, Marju Hõimla.
Palume kuldmärgi vastuvõtmiseks lavale Keemia ja Biotehnoloogia Instituudi professori Tõnis Kangeri.
Tõnis Kanger, the research professor from the Department of Chemistry and Biotechnology.
Palume kuldmärgi vastuvõtmiseks lavale Ragnar
Gold
Nurkse
badge
Innovatsiooni
is
ja Valitsemise
awarded
Instituudi
to
sekretäri Piret Kähri.
assistant to the manager in Ragnar Nurkse Department of Innovation and Governance, Piret Kähr.
Tallinna Tehnikaülikooli kuldmärgiga tunnustatakse
Golden badge is awarded
arvutisüsteemide instituudi teadurit Tarmo Rovalit.
Tarmo Roval, researcher at the Department of Computer Systems.
Kutsume kuldmärgi vastuvõtmiseks lavale Keemia ja
Golden badge
Biotehnoloogia
is
Instituudi
awarded
dotsendi
to
Inga Sarandi.
Inga Sarand, associate professor in the Division of Food and Biotechnology.
palume kuldmärgi vastuvõtmiseks
Tallinn
lavale
University of
infotehnoloogia
Technology
osakonna
Golden Badge is
serverilahenduste
awarded
spetsialisti
to
Roman Žuravljovi.
Roman Žuravljov, Information Technology Services Infrastructure Specialist.
Kutsume kuldmärgi vastuvõtmiseks lavale
The
Keemia ja
Golden Badge
Biotehnoloogia Instituudi
is
professori
awarded
Toomas
to
Tamme.
Tenured Associate Professor Toomas Tamm in the Department of Chemistry and Biotechnology.
Tallinna Tehnikaülikooli kuldmärgiga tunnustatakse
Tallinn University of
Geoloogia
Technology
Instituudi
Golden Badge
vanemteadurit
is
Jüri
awarded
Vassiljevit.
to Yuri Vassiljev, Senior Researcher in the Department of Geology.
Palume kuldmärgi vastuvõtmiseks lavale Keemia ja
Golden
Biotehnoloogia
Badge is
Instituudi
awarded
vanemlektori Li Villo.
to the Senior Lecturer at the Department of Chemistry and Biotechnology, Li Villo.
Kutsume kuldmärgi vastuvõtmiseks lavale
Golden
teadusosakonna
Badge
teadus-
is
ja
awarded
arendustegevuse projektide
to
peaspetsialisti
Research
Kersti Vähi.
Administration Office Chief Officer of Research and Development Project, Kersti Vähi.
Kahjuks ei olnud kõigil kuldmedali laureaatidel
Unfortunately,
võimalik
quite
avakoosolekul
some
osaleda.
laureates of the
Kuid
Golden
tunnustame
Badge
ka
were not
neid
able
suure
to
aplausiga.
participate today,
Tallinna
but let's give
Tehnikaülikooli
them a big round
kuldmärgiga
of
autalastatakse
applause as well.
Virumaa kolledži
Tallinn
vanemlektori
University of Technology
Olga
awards Golden
Dunajevat.
Badge to the Senior Lecturer of Virumaa College, Olga Dunajeva.
Ehituse ja arhitektuuri instituudi teadurit Tiina Haini.
Researcher Tiina Hain from the Department of Civil Engineering and Architecture.
Tervisetehnoloogia instituudi inseneri Deniss Karaid.
Engineer in the Department of Health Technologies, Deniss Karaid.
Elektroenergeetika ja mehhatroonika instituudi vanemlektorid
Senior
Madis
Lecturer
Lehtla.
at the Department of Electrical Power Engineering and Mechatronics, Madis Lehtla.
Eesti Mereakadeemia lektori Dmitri Murgat.
Lecturer Dmitri Murgat from the Estonian Maritime Academy.
Energiatehnoloogia instituudi vanemteadurit Dmitri Nežumajevat.
Senior Researcher Dmitri Nežumajeva.
Kinnisvaraosakonna sandtehnikud Vladimir
A janitor at the Real
Stražetski.
Estate Department, Vladimir Stravenski.
Ja ärikorralduse
And
instituudi lektori Ester
Lecturer
Vahtre.
from the Department of Business Administration, Ester Vahtre.
Palju õnne veel kord kõigile kuldmärgi
Congratulations
laureaatidele.
once again to all the staff members receiving the Golden Badge, and thank you to the Vice Rector of Academic Affairs.
Tallinna Tehnikaülikool soovib tänada ka emeriteeruvat
Tallinn
professorit
University of
ning
Technology
palub
would also
selleks
like
lavale
to
ka
congratulate
teadusprorektori
Professor
Tiit
Emeritus
Luki.
and would like to ask the Vice Rector for Research, Tiit Luk, to come on the stage.
palume emeriteeruval professoril anda
We'd
allkiri
also
ka
like
ülikooli
to ask
auraamatusse.
Professor
Tallinna
Emeritus to
Tehnikaülikool
sign the
tänab
Book of
kauaaegse
Honor.
viljaka
Tallinn
teadus-
University
ja
of Technology
arendustegevuse eest
thanks for
professor
fruitful
Enn
long-term
Listrat.
study and research work, Professor Enn Listrat.
Aitäh rektorile ja teadusprorektorile.
Thank you to the
Ning
rector
palju
and
õnne veel
also
kord
to the
kõigile
Vice
kuldmärgi
Rector for
laureaatidele
Research,
ja
and
emeriteeruvale
congratulations to all of
professorile.
the laureates of the Golden Badge as well as to Professor Emeritus.
Sellega on avakoosolek
This is
lõppenud
the end of
ja
our
palume kõiki
opening
edasi peahoone
session
fuajeesse
today, and we would like
piknikupidama.
to invite you
Mente
all
et
to the
manu!
lobby of the main hall for our joint picnic. Mente et manu.